The idea is to come to some kind of clarity. What's the nekuda of this Mamer? Bosi legani tafshach of Gimel. Says, first of all, we have to clarify what's happening in Bosi legani tafshin Yud. Just the kitzer to one nekuda to understand what's the word over there. To understand what's the Rebbe Tutuf, the Chiddush of Tafshach of Gimel. And then in that gufa, it really works in two stages. So the way it works, just in ein word, in Tafshin Yud, we're in the middle of explaining what's L'mayla Adin Kates. So in the process of explaining L'mayla Adin Kates, there's a discussion, what's the Taich L'mata Adin Tachlis? So to understand what's L'mata Adin Tachlis, is da a ganze Reit that Lamata Adin Tachlis is the Taich that Ein Sof Sai expresses itself in the Bria and Sai is found in the Bria. In the Lashon of the Rebbe, it's Sai in the Eifon of his Havus, that you could tell in the Nivra that's coming from something that's Ein Sof, and Sai that the Asizdo Ein Sof in the Bria. And that's the word in Perek Yud Gimel. Now, the Lashon of the Frierdiker Rebbe is as the Spashtus Vigil, or the Vigili Spashtus. Now, it's important to point out that the Pashtus, when the Frierdiker Rebbe uses these Lashonos, it's a careful Lashon. Meret wegen the Spashtus, the Gili Spashtus. The Frierdiker Rebbe says it in this Seder. First he says the Gili, then the Espashtus. He's not saying it in stages. But the Rebbe picks up on this Lashon, and the Rebbe takes it as Sedot Tzvei Inyanim in Chassidus, Espashtus and Gili, and we want to discuss over here the difference between these two. So the Rebbe zooms in on these two Lashonos. Now it's interesting to note that the Hemshech Bosi Legani Tafshin Yud is really Tafresh Pei Gimel. That's when it was said. Tafresh Pei Gimel is meyused on Tafresh Pei from the Rebbe Rashab. Over there isn't these Lashonos, it's Pashtus Vigilus. So really what's happening in Tafshin Chav Gimel is a taich that the Rebbe is somehow celebrating the Chiddush of what the Frierdiker Rebbe did over the Rebbe Rashab and will herausbringen was da geschehen. So the Pashtus is Pashtus Vigilui, Tafshin, good, zugelegt Lashon. The Rebbe is showing that no, we're taking seriously every word, and this is the ufta over here in Tafshin Chav Gimel to understand the Chiddush. This all's happening in Tafshin Chav Gimel in this Hanocha in Siv Beis, Siv Gimel. The Noch in Siv Dalet, the Rebbe takes this to a whole new level. He says, Bis jetzt, der Redman, als Sachakel, we took the Inyan of Ein Sof, Lamata Adin Tachlis, and what ausgeteilt, nicht stam is Pashtus Neichet Gil. Good. But it could still work really in the framework of Tafshin Yud. Just teaching us Tafshin Yud, a bisschen reicher. From Siv Dalet, the Rebbe is clearly learning a whole new mind. And it really becomes that es ist schon nicht Pshat in Tafshin Yud. We're taking Siv Yud Gimel to Inyam B'fnei Atzmei, and we could learn this as Siv Yud Gimel. What's the word? As a doa avede von Neshamas Yisrael. Und Neshamas Yisrael sind ein Mamshich, der Ein Sof, as so sein Lamata Adin Tachlis. And how does this happen? Es hat etwas zu tun mit Achat Bedore. This is already Sebaitich the ganze Mamer, which is really, once you understand properly Siv Dalet, L'chure, in Siv Dalet, in Tafshin Chav Gimel, that's the thrust of the Mamer, and everything else starts making sense a little bit more, really where the Rebbe wanted to come to. So Bekitzer, what we have over here is, if we'll do it in three stages. First, to clarify what's happening in Tafshin Yud. Then, what's the word, the uftu of is Pashtus Vigilui. And danach, to Siv Dalet, wo da liegt the L'chura, the Nekuda of the mind. is so just Benegea Tavshin Yud, one ha'ara, which is important to understand, Senegea Bichlal and Chassidus, especially when we're learning Tavshin Yud, to understand what's happening. So steht in Zayar, as Ein Sof is Meir, as Ein Sof is hot in sich, Lamaila din Ketz or Lamata din Tachlis. That's a Lashon HaZeh. So in Chassidus Bichlal, überall, yeah, you have it in Samach Vav, you have it all over. What's Pshat? What's Pshat that Ein Sof has in it, Lamaila din Ketz or Lamata din Tachlis? By definition, Ein Sof, in the most pashta taich, means it's Ein Sof. Ein Sof is bligvul, so hat nicht kein Geld. It's the opposite of Maila and Mata. It's nicht Maila, it's nicht Mata. We'll say it in other words, Maila adin Ketz is like a cumulative. We're saying, as nicht nur da, se eichet dorten, se noch a Sach. It's not something which could be more or less. Ein Sof is Ein Sof. So there is a Havimin in Chassidus to tie choice that the Mailo Mata is not referring to Ein Sof, Ein Sof. We're saying as Ein Sof, which is Taka Poshet, is gefindt sich in alle Elements. And the Elements have Mailo Mata, so that's the touch. Ein Sof is found everywhere. So the Rebbe Bavaran says in Venocha Yudalit, he says no. Eibazei. So it's not saying that Ein Sof has Mailo Mata. You're saying Sachakil that there's no place which doesn't have it. Izogazei. Say less asar ponim. So obviously, what the Zayir over here is saying is that Ein Sof, that says the Eibishter Alei, before there's a musik of a tzimtzum or any kind of yachas, farmokt possesses L'mayla and mata mata. Now, there is the regular mahalach to explain this, and then there is Tavshin Yud. The regular Havana is as Mayla adin Ketz, or mata adin Tachlis is saying, as the Eibishter, nicht als Beirem, als Eibishter, the Hainu, what's called in Chassidus Lifnei HaTzimtzum, has in him Saya Inyan that is obviously transcendent over the Bria. He doesn't have a Shaykhis, and Saya that he does have a Shaykhis. But Lashon HaChassidus Eiran Keich. So usually we would say that's the Ufta of the Tzimtzum. Lifnei HaTzimtzum, the Eibshter is nicht kein Mocker of the Bria, and the Ufta of the Tzimtzum, that's the whole production is to try to say as the Eibshter hat a Shaykhis. It's a Mocker from the Nivra. So we mechadish over here, no? The Eibishter hat bekeichach ha'agadol. The Eibishter has in him as a soll von einem herauskommen in him vom Bris. In very breiter terms, this is was mir sagt, dass der Eibishter hat in him vom Blickwohl und hat in him vom Gewuhl. In potential. How it's found over there is another discussion, which obviously is not in Tavshin Yud. Wie ist es But that's what we want to get to. As Tzedor in him von Kayach, the Hainu, Lamata adin Tachlis in Lifnei HaTzimtzum. And that's what we're saying over here when we say the Eibishter Ein Sof. You'd think Ein Sof means Eibazei, the Nivra has no Shaykhis to him. Where does Nivra reach? Sachakel in La'achar HaTzimtzum, as the Spheres, or the Akre, however you're going to say it. Say no. However high you're going to reach in the Eibishter, we're talking Ein Sof, hat ha'inyan from Lamata adin Tachlis. What's the Taish L'mayla adin Ketz? Pashtus, that's the obvious. As is Hecher from Welt. That's the Pashtus of Ein Sof, the Bligvul. In Tavshin Yud, we're saying in ganz eine andere Wort, and it's in a way an opposite word. It's not stira, but it's coming from a totally different direction. We're saying like this: the Eibishter is a mocker for the Bri. What's the mocker for the Bri? The Pashtus, the Gvul, as a spheres. You can maybe even find it in Lifnei HaTzimtzum Kanal. Sagt man nein. Ein Sof, the Hainu, the Pshitis, the Bligvul of the Eibishter, is found in Lamata Adin Tachlis. So we're not talking over here about the Kayach of the Eibishter. Fakert. We're talking about the Eir. We're talking about the Bligvul. And that is Nimtza in der Welt. The world is Gvul. Good. That's the idea of Chayis, that you see V'atem Chayis Kulam, that even though he comes into the world, Im Kol Zeh, he's connected, and Eine Mishtane, and he remains Be'etzem Ingen of Bligvul. So we're saying as Ein Sof is Nimtza Lamata Adin Tachlis. He does. We're clearly saying a different word. Maybe to summarize, just to clarify. But derech klau was meret is that we're trying to find the nivra in beide. Und noch hecher, nicht stam in beide, in hecher von beide. In der Eibishter allein. In Tafshin Yud, we're trying to find beide in nivra. Und nicht stam beide, noch hecher, in Sof, wie gefindt sich in der nivra. So the conversation is what the nivra looks like, not what the beide looks like. Actually, to be mamchish this, to haben klar, amol melernt, was Chassidus sagt und danach da was Chassidus will. Sometimes it makes clear and pashat in pshat, like what are we saying over here? Yeah, you can have a matzav, a father has a conversation with his son. So the pashtus is that the father has a full life, the hainu science man and science interests, which have nothing to do with his son. When Yesh got married at some point, and he has his whole inyonim, his nefesh, his kekes, his things he believes in, he wants. Tanach is not the fact that Bein Ashar, one of the things that he has children. And that's where he begins being a father. So by Pashtus, the relationship of the father with the child begins from a certain place in his nefesh. But there's a higher, a deeper place where dorten bin ich kentate, dorten bin ich. So over here you have a father telling a child it's not true. There's no part in me where you don't belong. There's no part where I could say, over here, I don't care about you. Over here, bin ich hecher von dir. Ein Yachas von ein Kind mit der Taten ist, als zu der Zeit von Taten. I understand you started, it only began from a chitzenistic stage. That's a good question, how and why. Aber es ist doch kein Ort und kein Ingen, where I don't care. As Meret, in Aveda, in was Chassidus will da sagen, was Chassidus will sagen, als se da in Welt, Entschuldigung, se da in der Eibishter, ist auch außer Haslamata den Tachlis. So we're saying a very strong statement. We're saying that this Nivra, Gvul, unsere Welt, ist Tefus Mokim bei der Eibishter nicht nur in Atzilus, which is the way we usually talk in Chassidus, Psichas and Tapuach, Atzilus, and everything over here has value and weight and importance by the Eibishter. But usually we mean by the Beira, by the Eibishter, the way he's a marker for us. We say no. In Sofata Inyan from the Mata den Tachlis, there's no part in him where we don't exist. So they give for mitzvahs, and they give for Vedas, and they give about the importance of the Bria. Yeah, the Chassidus, right, wegen the Nutzen, Teva. This is all understanding how important we are by the age. Then there's another conversation. Tate sagt zu the Kinder, you have a whole life. Now, there is the pashtos, what you learn, what things that are important to you. Then there's your shtusim. And then there's even worse than your shtusim. There's your shtiferai, and then there's when you make yourself stupid, and when do zindigs. And then there's the things that you do which are befeirish gerem agams nefesh. where in your life do I exist? So you're going to think that I have a shaykhis mistame care about what du lernst, what du tust kfiaratz. The niedrigere places, and the shtussim, and the v'cholu, over there, I'm not with you there. For sure, if you're talking about the very me, of the there I, which is the etzem, I can't have a shaykhis with that. So we're saying no. Ein Sof is lemata mata adein tachlis. There's no art in the tachten wo is nicht verrat. Und nicht stam alle. In other words, usually we're saying the way the Nivra exists in the Eibishter. Now we're saying the way the Eibishter exists and is found in the Nivra. Und das ist der Wort, the Maskana of the Mamer, kila yidach mimenu nidach. That in every place where the Nivra is, Dorten is the Eibishter Farah. So das ist der Teich, as in Sof, allein is lamata adein tachlis, und dort in einem Stane, bleibt in Sof. This Nakuda is clear? Yeah. Just, if you need a Maramokin for the clarity, making the beautiful industry. The contrast between these two biurim in Eretz Sof and Getzel Shul lamata adein tachlis is it's done v'nochi yudalad and ha'ara. Over there it's finished. The Rebbe brings over there both the beautiful and the pnim, and then he says, "Oben and Hemshech was leganet of Yud is fakir." Is a andere word, and this is this chid. Okay. Before we go weiter, anyone wants to clarify anything? Zugeben, abschlagen. Don't hit Zechon from this point, which is happening in Topshin Yud, which is really a Akdome. We're in the middle of a process to discuss the pastures Lamayla Adin Ketz. But while we're here understanding what's Lamata Adin Tachlis. So the Friedrich Rebbe uses the Lashenes as is in a even from Gilui and in a even from his pastures. And that's how this Erein Sof is Nimtza in the Keleyidach Menonidach. As Eretz Sof is nimtza in the Nivra everywhere, in every place of the Nivra. So, the Rebbe over here, and in the Hanoche, it's come upon him, as it was Sai Gilu and Sai Pashtus, and if you listen to the recording, it's even more. Hanoche didn't put it in so many times, but it's very clear that this is over here what the Rebbe built up, Mechalik Zayin or Mechadish Zayin, where we're talking Sai Inyan from his Pashtus and Sai Inyan from Gilu. So, in order to clarify and to get to the Nukuda, what's the other Uftu? Maybe it's good just to see inside, im Hodo da Anoche, Verlag, just to point out maybe 2 or 3 Nukudas over here in the Maimon which will clarify the difference between Gilead and his Pashtus. Oh, yeah, one of those. Shakti guy, Kuntres. It's on the wrong side. It's printed in the wrong. Adak. Okay. So, the way the Maimon works in Tafshin Yud is that we go in stages. First, we say that in Atzilus is nicht kein Chiddush that Eretz Sof is nimtza. That's bechal not considered matter. And then we say, what's the touch? Eretz Sof is Meir Lamato, is in Biyah. That's a Chiddush, that's a Pelle. And then it's even more of a Pelle. That is nimtza in Elam Hazeh and Biz, that we say, Taka, what's the Ein Tachlis? Split up. There's the Lamato, then there's Ein Tachlis, and then as he adds, Madrevis HaYes Tachtenis, VaYes Achrenis, that still he comes as Eretz Sof is found even in Klip. But in Sif Beis we're discussing the Einei Pella. As in Atzilus and Ishkin Pella that Eretz Sof is over there found. Just Lahoyer, Mamer HaMuzger. The Pashtus, It's unnecessary, like to talk about the Ene Pella, and the whole Arich is the Ene Pella. We want to talk about what is a Pella. But hopefully we'll get to it. The way the Rebbe learns the Mamer, the way it works out from Siv Dalet in Tavshin Chav Gimel, it's an Egeya for the Vort to understand that Atzilus is Ene Pella. We'll get that. But in the process of understanding why Ene Pella, so he says, why? Because Kelim da Atzilus Harei Melakus Mamish. So let's see the Lashon of the Frierdiker Rebbe as it's quoted over here. It's in page Yud Beis in the Mamer Bosi of Gimel. Shura Mescheles Begil. So sagt the Frierdiker Rebbe, Liyes de Gamma Kelim da Atzilus Harei Melakus Mamish. Vim Kein, number one, Ein Pella Klal da Ein Sof Meir Shom Begil. Two, V'chein Ein Pella Mashem Yichelim Lekabel Ein Sof Hakam. So it's a Bavaranish that Nish Stam, it's Ein Sof is Meir over there, Begilui, it's also that the Kelim could be Mekabel. V'hainu. Now the Rebbe's teaching goes what the Frierdiker Rebbe said. And the Rebbe teaches these two stages in an interesting way. Number one, what the Frierdiker Rebbe said, Ein Sof Meir Shom Begilui, he says, She'ein ze Pella she'ein Sof yochel leispashet shom, ispashtus. And the second word, Va'fil ein ze Pella she'ein Sof yochel shom begilui, gilui. So the Rebbe is taking these two Lashonos of the Frierdiker Rebbe and saying it's ispashtus and gilui. So, obviously, what we have to understand is, first of all, why are these two things these two things? I mean, what's the shaykhis between saying that Ein Sof Yochel Liyashom Begilui and Shakelim Yichelim Lekabel is the idea of Espashtus and Gilui? And Baker, what's the difference between Espashtus and Gilui? That's Pashut. So, let's just Pashut Bavarin in Pshat. This is important to understand what the Rebbe did over. If you read the Frierdiker Rebbe, but Pashtus, sounds like he's saying, as is done mitzad ha'er or mitzad ha'kelim. Mitzad ha'er, Ein Sof Yochel L'horish Shom Begilui. And then there's the Kelim Yichelim Lekabel, which would obviously be wrong pshat. The discussion over here is not about Kelim. We're trying to explain how Ein Sof is Meir Lamata Mata Adei Tachlis. If the Kelim could be Mekabel or not, this has nothing to do with our conversation. So obviously these are two stages in the vort of his pashtus of Ein Sof. So this is what the Rebbe is bavarening. Pasha, you shouldn't have a misunderstanding of what the Frierdiker Rebbe is saying. We're not saying the Eir could be Meir and the Kelim could be Mekabel. We're saying is, as it's Tzvein Yonim in Eir. Eir could be Meir Begili, in even of his pashtus. And what's the types of the Kelim Yichelim Mekabel? That's an Inyan of Gili HaEir. It's another idea in Eir. So we're helping Pashat in Pshat in the Mamer as it's Tzvein Yonim in Eir. His pashtus and Gili. So we understand why it's necessary for the Rebbe to say this, because this is what we're saying in Shiur. But Hagufa, what's the difference between his pashtus and Gili? We still need to clarify. Another nekuda, which it's kedai to shtel zich on. Back over here, this lashon, Shura Mescheles Begilui, the Frierdiker Rebbe says that why is in Kelim da Atzilus is not Meir Ein Sof and it's not a Pella because the Kelim da Atzilus Harei Melakus Mamish. So since it's a Lakus, it's not a Pella that should carry Ein Sof. What's that supposed to mean? Why not? Kelim is Gvul of a Lakus. So Gvul should carry Bli Gvul? Ach, verstehst du Lakus? So what? How's that helping him Pshat? And therefore ain't a Pella. Only a Pella in Biyah. I mean, an Eiver is Mugbul. Therefore he could take a certain Keach. So what's the difference if it's a Lakus or not? Now, it's interesting, when the Rebbe touched Ois, this word, the Rebbe added a few words. And it looks like the Rebbe is saying a tifere havana in what's a pshat that kelim that is can be makabel alakus. Believe. We go on page Yud Gimel. The Rabbi says, quote, Shura Maschalas Mamer, she'ein pele klal da'erin sof meresham begili, shareim kelim leirin sof. V'hainu legt der Rabbi zu mitzad inyan ha'achtus. Kiven sha'achtus ikli lekabel leirin sof. Shalchein gam kelim datzil es reim alakus mamish, sharei yu v'gar meicha. So, we're saying a totally new word. Nicht as because it's a lakus it could be mekabel, because it's achtus it could be mekabel, and therefore he's a lakus, and therefore it's dort meir and sof. So, what we need to clarify is the difference between Ispashtus and Gili, and the difference between saying as is a reim a lakus mamish and saying this new word as mitzad achtus is achtus. A clearly kabbalah in sof. Stamme would make sense to say that these two inyanim, the two shinuyim that the Rebbe made in the Frierdiker Rebbe, l'chora have to do with each other. One last word, Zeit left a bisschen, but just one last nekuda, the nekuda of Siv Gimel. Siv Gimel, the Rebbe learns an interesting pshat. I'm not going to go through the whole cheshbon now, but the punchline is that the levushim, the hainu, usually machshav dibro ma'aser, and l'mayla it's bri yitzira asiyah, are not mekabel from each other, and the relationship to Atzilus is not one further than another, but they're all b'shav. And that's the reason why the Frierdiker Rebbe brings Emei Elohim Mekanan B'Kurtzayah, and the hemshech of the lashon, because he wants to say that Sinish Yitzir is mekabel from Bria, no Yitzir is mekabel from Atzilus equally to the way Bria is mekabel from Atzilus. So, first of all, this is very interesting. I mean, in Chassidus b'derech klal, what's the point of saying Seder Shalshus? If Yitzir is not lower, if he's not being mekabel from Bria, in what way is he Yitzir and not Bria? What sagst du? V'ha'ikir, why is it negate at our mind? What do we want to bring out from this verse? What's the Rebbe's verse? Okay. So, Akopanim in a few words, let's get to the difference between Hispashtus and Gil. First of all, let's start with the translation. What's the Lashon Hispashtus mean? Hispashtus means as you have someone or something which is spreading. Hispashtus, by definition, means whether you want or not. Here I am. Hispashtus could be in an even that's overwhelming the Makam. As we know, the Lashon from the Meise from the Tzemach Tzedek, the Rabbi brings in Bosi in Entschuldigung, Pada B'Shalom Toshchov Beis. Yeah? That he complained that people are stepping on him, so he said, then nobody would step on you. So what's this Hispashtus mean over there? He didn't ask anybody. It's not like anybody wanted him to be mispashut. That's attached to Hispashtus. A person walks into the room, he's being Hispashtus by force. Gilui, by definition, means I'm coming within the terms of the Mekabel. Usually, Gilui means the mashal in Perik Memches in Tanya. The Hagdaras Achilak between Seviv and Mamala is Helam and Gilui. So Seviv is not found in the Nivra less, but he's not Begoli. Dahainu, he's not speaking the language of the Mekabel. So Gili means I'm here with you, as you understand it. So usually, I would say like this: Seviv, Bligvul, so it comes an even of his pashtus. Memale is an even of Gili. Da sagt mir eine interessante Sache. the uftu the Rebbe wants to stress in what Ein Sof is Meir Lamata Den Tachlis is that Ein Sof Bligvul will come in the Eifel of Gil. Which is interesting. How does that work? So the emissaries, also his pashtus needs more asbar. What do you mean that you're coming not on my terms? So you're not here. Yeah, in Gashmis, there could be a musik of something out of place. As adochak v'nichnis. He's here even though he's not wanted. In Ruchni, is what do you mean? You can't like force, it's nemena ateretz, and force it onto the kasha, even though it doesn't answer the kasha. So it's nicht da. It's nicht geteretz. It's not, it doesn't belong in the sugi. In Teichen, it's nicht da as a zach, something, shalibim came. So erstens darf man verstehen, I feel was is pastors. You mean to be here in a way of overpower. And then we would need more work to understand what's the taich as se kommt in Eifen of Gil, as this Ein Sof is coming in Gil. So the taich, the pashtus, of what it means is pashtus, is these words, because the Kelem Hareim Alakus Mash. Now this lashon exists. It's in Chassidus you have in Mechus Samach Aleph, you have Vumeret wegen. Be'emes, it's a much broader question. Sagt, yeah, the Yom Tov, every time you tell a mitzvahs, you mamsher a taste for Eiris and Atzilus. You're bringing the union of Blig Vul into Atzilus. Doesn't make sense. Atzilus is Gvul. And the Eir was in Atzilus is in Eifen of Gvul. That's the touch Eiris Mulpashim Bakel. So we say, no, somehow we change. I mean, half of Chassidus is saying that. Usually the maskana of every Mamer is to explain what would be Lulei, Asidah, Shabbos, or the Asidah, the Mitzvah, or the whatever, Mesiras Nefesh, whatever you're doing. The Uftu is, we bring an Ein Sof. What you say. That's the Kasha of Smiflekt. And the Teretz is, it works. Because Kelem Datzilus Hareim Elakus Mash. Okay. It's Elakus, but we know it's Elakus. It's Gvul, it's not Bligvul. So, let's first start with the dogma, and then we'll come to Asbar. The dogma for them is was mezet in Nefesh Adam, that you see the mashal Bizman HaSimcha or the Bizman HaSakana, you see an inyan of Blig Vul being Nizgal in the Nefesh. Das heißt das. Normally I have Eivarim and I have Keiches. And the Keiches are Mislabish Lefi Erech Eivarim. So if I have a developed brain, so I have so much of my mind is based in the brain, so much of my seichel is in the meich. If I have, let's speak even more simple, the muscles, how much keich atnua is begun in my muscles, as strong as I am. Now if you want to become stronger, you can do that. But you have to do exercise. And exercise is mat, somehow you work your way up till a month later, you could carry what you couldn't carry a month ago. Or if your brain exercises, you could learn more because there's more Gili HaSeichel. That's that you grew. Then there's a totally different tziyuv. A person is Bizman HaSimcha, he could dance a whole night. He's not so strong. If somebody would come to him and pay him to dance in a ganze Nacht, he would not be Matzliach. He is not that strong. Or if somebody tell you, go run for 2 days straight, I can't. I would love to. You offer me a lot of money. I can't. The fact is, Bizman HaSakana, it happens. So we see it's happening. Now, obviously, it's not pshat, let's just clarify, that the person became stronger. I mean, the next day he's as weak as he was before. He's probably actually weaker. He's hurting. He did something shalei lefi yarech ha'evarim. Noch im Tanzen a ganze Nacht. Ich verstehe, you're besimcha g'deila, but you can't really do this. And in the end, what's going to have to happen is that he's going to have to recuperate and come back to his natural matzah. He didn't grow. What happened is that the nefesh, there was Gili HaNefesh, Akbaras Atzur Allah Chaymer, The nefesh was behispashtus, and therefore somehow the Ivarim rode with. Sie mitgefahren. Sie haben das gekannt vertragen. Das ist der Metzies. So how good for that was to how does that work? So we obviously have to say like this, that the Kelim, Harehem Elokus Mamish, Dahaim, the Ivarim, in Yonam is Inyan HaNefesh. And therefore, they are maskim to be Mikabel Nefesh. As we know, the Chiluk Bechlal between Levushim and Keiches, or between Levushim and Guf, is that the Guf doesn't exist without the Nefesh. Because it doesn't have any other Inyan. So because he doesn't have any, who am I in Yoni is to carry Nefesh. You can't have a Guf without a Nefesh. It disintegrates. So because this is my whole Inyan, therefore I'm ready to take any Inyan of Nefesh. Or we'll say a little bit different. The Keiches by definition, obviously the Keiches in Yonam is Seichel and the way my Seichel works. But there is Kilo Nema, the identity of the Keiches. What are the Keiches coming to do? The Keiches, Vidaloshin is, they're Nafshi. Ha-Keiches heim Nafshi. I understand. But understanding is not just cognitive activity. It's not just processing information. Understanding means like this. I get it. There's a light bulb that goes on, and that's an experience of nefesh. And I identify with this svar. Al derech zeh, in Hergish. There's obviously, there's the mechanics of Hergish. How there's the chamimus in Ave, there's the kibbutz in Yirden. That's not what Hergish is. Hergish is as ich hab lieb. There's an I. And the I of ich hab lieb, und ich hab meire, und ich verstehe, are not different I's. It's the same I. In other words, if we'll start fakert, why does the nefesh have keiches? Because the nefesh wanted to express itself. Because Kashem sheyichelte bebilti bagvul kach yichelte begvul. So what are the keiches in essence? Who are they? Not what are they. Who are they? What they are, he's chesed, he's gvura. Who are you? Why do you exist? Because the nefesh wanted expression. So since your whole inyan is nefesh, whenever nefesh will express itself, you identify it. Because that's where you come from. You come from nefesh. Kilo Neymar says murgish in the gvul that he's really originally was a prat in the bligvul. So I understand today he's gvul. But don't tell me that you look at Inyan of bligvul as totally fremde zach. You know me. This is where you come from. And in some place or another, deep in the nefesh, we are one. So now that you are a separate thing, versteh, but you're ready to host me. And that's why if we're going to say, let's speak mamish simple in the Evarim, yeah, when I could dance a whole night, because the guf calling yoni is to carry the nefesh. And originally, so even though he has his keiches, he has his specific tziyur, but he's ready to take a union of bligvul to carry it. Shalei b'tevos. Not be'efem pnimi. But you could be mispashet on me because I identify with you. Because this is really where I come from. This was called in Yoni in Melachat. Das ist der Teich, der Wort von his pashtus. So, Kilo Neymar, there's a back door in the Keiches, in the Spheres, in the Kelim da Atzilis, which really connects me and allows for Bligvul to come in. Obviously, it's still an Eifel from his pashtus. But it's working. Ad Kedei Kach in the Mamer, not just saying in simple is in Keich HaTnuah. but there could be gili of belig vul in seichel. A pashta person could speak tzcholim niflaim b'zman hasimcha. Or ish a kamtzen could suddenly become a breita heart. In other words, the cake is take a change. Even though tomorrow this person who's making the chassan, you have your fundraiser, the best time is by chassan. Because it's a state that there's a srach was in nefesh. Simcha, that's tash simcha peiret together. So what's the simcha peiret together? That my own nefesh, the pshittas of the nefesh, is bursting through the gdarim of my nefesh. How does that happen? Because the nefesh melachat chila doesn't look at the bligvul, which is expressed in simcha. That's a fremde zach. It's not a foreign virus. I know you. Therefore, meretzach tzanayf, he could carry me. This is the regular pshat, as Meret, saying in Samach Aleph, Kelem dat Tzidas Hareim Alakus Mamish. This is the lashon of the Frierdiker Rebbe to explain his pashtos of Ein Sof, Lamata Mata Adin Tachas. So I chose Nish Lamata, the way is not Tzidas. Why not Tzidas? Is it not modern to see Ein Sof? Because Kelem dat Tzidas relate. They're ready to carry it. It's not a geschmacke word, it's always geschmack to see the way this Indian is gefindt sich in der Rebbe's Teire. So you have, there's a famous sikha, Mishpatim Chelik Tazayin. Tachtenim Yalal Al Yenim, Al Yenim Yesh Al Tachtenim. So, towards the end of the sikha, basically the maskana is that Tachtenim is Seichel, and Al Yenim is Amun. So the shaila is, could Seichel carry Amun? So Seichel could be maskim, asidon. The shaila is, could Seichel be permeated with Amun? The Pashta says no. I mean, Seichel has his rules. So the Rebbe brings over there, as a state in Samachal, as Kelem dat Tzilas Hareim Alakus Mamish, this is Mamish, this in. Therefore, an Inyan of Gvul could also carry Bli Gvul, because Melchatchila it's one thing. In other words, if you learn Seichel, if you learn Teira out pure logic, you're right, Safram de Zach. There's no reason how you're going to bring an Inyan of Amun. But if it's Melchatchila expression, it's Inyan Aliki. So it's not only not going to be a stira, it's going to be felt in the Higoyin as a Dodam. It brings over that the Rebbe Rashab said, as a sitzt, bei sich im Zimmer, und er öffnet alle gute Teire, filter in Sof. Filter in Sof. I think in Sof. Der Härte in Sof. So he's overlooking the gute Teire, he's sitting down to learn. Aber wenn lernt, because by the Rebbe Nishmasei, when lernt, is the Chassidus not a Svar. No Chassidus is a Lakus. So even though it's Seichel Aliki, Baltas is Seichel Aliki, can sich anhören dorten also ein Sof. This is the Pashta Pshat. This is the regular Hava. This is obviously all his Pashtas. Sachaka, what we did is, we rationalized how his Pashtas could work. How Yitochen as Bligvul, hat man reingeschmuggelt, we smuggled in, Bligvul in Gvul, and he's ready to carry it. It's not Gili. Gili would mean a Pashtas, like Mamalo. That's where the real Lashon Gili is. As the Chayis is the Zach. He is him. He's talking his language. Fakir, you're telling me that I'm ready to take something which is not my language. Vaharaya, the next day, he doesn't have it. So it's just pshat is that it's really there. The Rebbe over here wants to say, as the be'enarich from them, it's nicht, his pashtos is Gili. As in Sof is nimtza in Atzilis and a Efen of Gili. So the shaila is, how do we get to that?
It's both.
It's Pashto Angular, right. So it's Pashto is fine. It's Pashto we've made peace with. The question is, how's the Gili going to work? So the Taj Gili is going to have to mean, to first talk Pashat in the Hafshata of the Indian. It's going to have to mean that somehow or another he is so bligvul that there's no Hagbala or Tzir on his expression. And he could express itself in every way. So usually we say if Bli Gvul expresses itself, Bli Gvul could come into a place of Gvul. Rotzen can reinkommen in Keches. But he talks like Rotzen talks. In Eifen of Shlita Memshale, he's coming in Eifen of Bli Gvul. This Bli Gvul is an Azasar, he's so Bli Gvul, or I don't know if over here would work the word, he's not Mugdir in Bli Gvul. He could talk any language. That's how Bli Gvul is. And that's why he could be Begil. So let's first maybe work backwards. Lama Zen, the chiluk that the Rebbe made between the kelim that tzilis are kelim for itself because the Reim Elikus Mamish, and then we said another word because Achdus is a klila insof, which is also a lashon was mekanim von Chassidus. Klar, every union of Achdus, yeah, Barchenu Avinu Kulanu Ka'echad, as a Zechibur Havchim, that's a kelim for insof. Now, this Inyan is coming by himself to the Iyuv Garmei Chad, Iyuv Chayei Chad, Iyuv Garmei Chad. Just if anyone remembers, last year and I think also before, we brought the Mittler Rebbe B'negei Iyuv Chayei Iyuv Garmei Chad. The Mittler Rebbe discusses over there the Inyan of Achdus in a very specific way. Is Bekitzer. There's two funny in how to understand the scholars. One even of the scholars is Mevest, Eishu Mayim, or Shnei Sorim, Eilim Lifnei HaMelech, they become bottom. Why do they become bottom? In Yoni is Chesed and in Yoni is Gvura. Malach Michal and Malach Gavri. Because when you come in front of the Melech, you are overwhelmed by the Melech. Good, overwhelmed by the Melech shouldn't make us Ba'achtus. Overwhelmed by the Melech should make us Shreik. Why are we Ba'achtus? So the answer is because really, Ali B'Dam is, what is Chesed if not Nefesh? And what is Gvura if not Nefesh? So when Chesed and Gvura are Behiskalus in the Nefesh, Ubelash Nachsidis Keich Sakluli, because the Nefesh is Meir B'Golui, what is happening is he's reminding them about their real identity. Kol Inyan HaChesed is a sug expression of Nefesh. Kol Inyan HaGvura is a sug expression of Nefesh. Memele, you're going to cooperate. It's not even a vitter, you're being mevater. Dein Inyan is Nefesh, dein Inyan is Nefesh. You want each other's Hatzlach. Because it's nicht a besondere Sache. So that's the Taich as Chesed or Gvura could be Behiskalus because they're Margish Nefesh. So again, not just because over Nefesh is overpowering, but over Nefesh is somehow Behispashtus in them, and Memele, they're masking to each other. Aber sof. Obviously, Chesed as Chesed. I mean, when he walked out of the Melech, is the nicht masking to Gvura. It's Tchunas HaChesed and Tchunas HaGvura are still. When they remember their Mocker, when the Shliach comes back to the Mishaleach, they can work together. What about a different kind of Iskalus? Chesed, when we have a conversation with him as he is Chesed. Does Chesed want to have anything to do with Gvura? So we see a very interesting phenomenon. But in order to be a successful Chesed, you have to be Gvuris. This has nothing to do with the Mokkah. This is to do with who you are. Nishta. If you're not going to be a big Gvuradik, you're going to be a failed Chesed, and you're going to end up being the opposite of what you want to be. Yeah? So, du willst eine gute Tate, you have to take away the knife from the child. You want to be a good teacher, you want to give, you have to know how to be Mitzamtzah. Which is it's a very surprising thing. It says, if you want to be one thing, you have to be at least a little bit of the You want to be a proper chair, you have to be a bit of a table. If I want to be I should be this business off. So element, mizet, as it's baked into the mitzias of every kayach. and every inyan to be beiskalus. Nothing to do with bittul al-makah. Why is that? Then muss man sagen, where it says, be'etzem ha-nefesh, everything is one. Since every kayach be'etzem comes from there, therefore the tchunas of chesed u gvura are so that they monon iskalus. When you have iskalus, it's coming obviously from a place which is mitzad ha'etzem, the far montes der iskalus. And this is in Nosich and Chol Gimel. You need the Marokans. The achdus which is happening in the keli, not mitzad when the air is ma'achetem, mitzad the keli. Because of Ein Sof. That's the type of Barchino of Inu Klonik Echad. This is, in other words, not Ein Sof the way he's coming in the Eifen of his pashtus, the way Ein Sof is coming in my language. It's the sikum. It says, no, the way I talk to the Evarim, the way you're forced to host me because dein Indian is dachechet nefesh. That's his pashtus. But it's despite you. Then there is, it's bligvul in your language. So maybe, I don't know, it just sounds like that the Rebbe is saying over here, this word, as kelim da tzilis harei malakus mamish, is because kibin sha'achtus ikli lekabel ein sof has to do with this word, that what we mean to say over here is that Ein Sof is going to come an Eifen of Gil, nicht an Eifen von Espashtus. Now, problem is, all we did is we kicked the can down the road. Machriach has a same mosaic. What does it mean? Who's that man? Such a musik that you have bligvul. If we brought Dugma in Nefesh Adam hat man gebracht, as bligvul comes in a Eifen of Gvul, in a Sprach of Gvul, like Bizman Simcha. For Espashtus haben wir as Eichetimtz. Where do we see bligvul coming in Gvul? Mitzad Echad being Gvul or Leidach being bligvul? So, in the Hemshech Tavshin Yud, the maskone, where the punchline is Vatam Chayes Kul, the Inyan from Chayes. The Rebbe already starts it over here in the Mamer. Where do we see Ein Sof Lamata Adin Tachlis is in Chayes. Now, let's just take 2 minutes to be magdir vos is Chayes, and maybe that will help us understand why we see Bli Gvul Ein Sof in a Eifen von Gil. Chayes is a very interesting thing. Yeah? We talk about Chayes, first we see it, and we talk about it in a very chitzonistic terms. We know that Chayes comes in Eifen of Nekude, Chayes brings tzmicha, kol Chayes na'anea. There's a lot of tchunas of Chayes. What is Chayes? What is it? It's Mavur in Chassidus, and we always know that the Emes Chai is the Eibishter. Ad kedei kach, that Dveikus in the Eibishter, Atem adveikim avay lekechem, is Chai. Thus, he is Chayes. Avay lekim Emes, hu lekim Chai. No, he gives Chayes, he is Chai. The Eibishter is Vatu Melech Kil Chai v'Kai. What's the touch Chai? So, in ein word is Chayase. The difference between a child, Uber b'me'imen, and a child, a born child, is one thing: independent. In other words, Chai is this hargoshe, this experience that I am supposed to be. In andere Wörter, if we'll speak like more Chire Sprach, is nicht kein Metzies Nimtza, he's a Atzm. Or or what we call, he's a mechuyev liyis, mechuyev hametzias. I have to be. I'm supposed to be. Let's say just say a pashta expression. Growth. Why should something grow? Something has, I am this size. If the table could talk, in Yoni he would say, I want to continue being. Why? I want to be more. I want to be another one. Why should I want to be more than what I am? Meichetesa. I don't want to be less. I want to be more. I am what I am. But my Metzias is gerade getroffen, als ich bin voran. Ich bin das. What I am, I am. And atzmi muza. I have to be. It's impossible for me not to be. Therefore, there can't be any place or any inyan where I'm not. That's without getting into why Mechuyev Metzias is that way. But that's the tchuna of Mechuyev Metzias. When a Metzias nimtza experiences atzmi, so he touches it up in this language. Metzias nimtza by itself passes the musik tzmicha, and atzmi itself also obviously doesn't pass the musik tzmicha. There's no such thing as the atzmi growing. But it's the way the Metzias nimtza has found an expression in himself of being, I'm supposed to be. I'm pushing to be. Therefore, I'm going to have more expression. I only speak the language of expression. So to me, being means another inch. So that's the type the tree is saying I have to be, so he grows more. Oh, but what's happening over here, it can't come mitzad him being a nimtza, it has to be mitzad him being a mechuyev mitzvahs. And muza. Even, let's say it in more clearer expression of it, what's the first thing you see about something that's alive, that he fights to exist? You threaten his life, you block the tree, he'll try to continue growing from a different direction. You block the a fly, he doesn't want to drown in water, will fight to somehow survive. What's he fighting to survive? Either I am or I'm not. I mean, that's actually alive. Life is as chemuz. It's the mitzias nimtza version of atzmi. In other words, to be alive is a touch you connected to etzem. It's nicht the touch. As etzem nefesh provides a package called chayis and delivers it to the aver, because then the aver wouldn't be atzmi, wouldn't be alive. The touch is that the aver is being margish as etzem. In the language of Chassidus, it's called Getzel Shul. There has to be a constant chibur with the etzem. It can't separate. Because that chayis means etzem. There's no other way of talking about it. And that's why it comes in if you can't be half alive. V'chulu, in the Ale in Yonim, that's why it's mugder, as opposed to the Ale in Yonim, this is the vort of chayis. Come back to our conversation. So when I see something alive, is that gvul or bli gvul? Hab ich dort mitzad echad ha'inyan as ein sof? That's attached to life. But is he being shown on the mitzias or fakert? The thing that's alive is thriving, is growing. He's becoming more him. When chayis, let's speak in the aver. When chayis ha-nefesh comes in the aver, is chayis ha-nefesh telling to the aver, al derech bizman ha-simche, you better ride with me and allow me to run over you and work through you? No. Chayis ha-nefesh comes into the aver and he enhances the aver. And the aver becomes more aver. Becomes a healthy aver, a frische aver, a aggressive aver. So, mitzad echad, se'atzmi, se'in sof. Ule'idach, de zach alein werk lebed. It's begolly. Da habe ich a dogma for this Indian as Ein Sof. And this is the truth. Pashat even, I mean, the Hemshech of the Mamer, when we talk about Atzilis, we get reden wie the Chayes from the Rabbi brings in Sifhei, how you see everything grows. Yeah, a mazla makeh beveim legadel. And then we're going to see that the Eibshter gives Chayes even to Klippe. And on every level, what's happening is if he's alive, it's nicht the Taich is that if he's alive, it's only coming from the gvul of the Eibshter. A life has to be as Ein Sof. That's a touch of life. Zet treffen mir der Ein Sof lemata mata den Tachlis. And in a Eifun of Gili. Okay. So just stop over here. Okay, we didn't get to the Vart of the Vart. Huh? So optional, whoever wants to leave? No. It shouldn't be like upset. Huh? Okay, Akapano Bekitzer. Let's get to the. Okay, we'll skip. There's also a Nikud in Siv Gimel. I mean, Mamer say it in one word. Siv Gimel. Once I understand the idea of Gilu over his pashtos, so I understand why we want that Biyah should be one word. If we're talking about his pashtos, and his pashtos, there's stages. It's cumulative. I could have more or less. Al derech v'lei mamish, it's a dugma recheka, al derech, the famous sikh in Shmeis Chelek Vav. Yeah, the Mishkan worked in the Eifn of that there's more gil. So it's blig vul. So like Shlomo HaMelech's Chachma blig vulis is nizgale, with another mashal, and still shleish alaf mashal. Every stage is more expression. The word that we want to say over here is it's fakert. As an ishdokin art where I can't be. And then it's going to be mitzad hakelim. In the language of the Sikh over them, it's sherish hakelim, tzachim and sherish, it's one nakud. So it doesn't work in the Eifen as a kumt on in Biyah. He is Biyah. He is, and in that way, there's no difference between Bria and Asiyah. So, we'll say a little bit different. If the Chayis Aleki needs Dveikus, so they all have to be connected to Atzilus in the same way. The Yachas to Atzilus, which is Alekus, is the same. I understand that if we're talking in Giluyin, in Bittul, that's a different conversation. So in Levushim, you have such a thing. But if we're talking over here about the Nekudas HaChayis, say Vart. Technically, in Levushim, you also have this chiluk. Yeah? The all Levushim, that begashmis, you wear a shirt and a jacket, and on that a coat. And then there is Levushim that you wear a hat and a jacket and shoes. So sometimes we talk about Biyah and Eifen, that each one is further from the Guf. Always say that each one is carrying a different part of the Guf. But in their relation to Guf, they're identical. Understand, Asiya is Grob. The shoes are greber than the jacket. True. But I can't say he's further from the Guf. So likewise, over here, we say, in Biyah, the Nekuda of Chayis, it's the same. It's the Zabazach. Okay. Well, the Ikar I wanted to get to is the Vart of Siddalt. The Nekuda of Neshams. So let's just start on a few Nekudas, maybe Mamish etliche Nekudas, and then was tut man darauf? In the Mamer in Tafshin Yud, the Frierdiker Rebbe brings, as Levushim, Biyah is a Pella that Ein Sof kommt on. How's that a Pella? Because Levushim. And Levushim is doch Nifrit. It's not like Guf. How do we explain how Levushim is Nifrit? So mitamol rukt rein, und Levushim minayu parchen u'shmossen lebnei nosh. That from the Levushim come Neshams. Elamai, the Neshamas are the Pnimis Elam, and the Malachim Chitzenius, and the Elam Chitzenius the Chitzenius. What are we doing over here? But pastors in the Lashon of the Frierdiker Rebbe is Shvei. When we're used to this, especially in the Frierdiker Rebbe, suddenly there's like just as nach Avot. So, but pastors before the Rebbe, yeah, so if we would learn Topshin Yud, Vidas so L'cheire, the way we would have to touch it, it's not so geschmack in the Lashon, but there would be no choice. We would say like this. The Frierdiker Rebbe is coming to Bavarin that Biyah is low. You're going to ask a kasha, levush, in parchin, ushmos, and v'nei so l'chura biyaz neshamis. So neshamis is doch mamish, alakos. Everyone knows that neshama is heilig, is davuk. So how could you say that levushim out nifred? So the answer is no, that's fart levushim. Elamai, it's the pnimius, right? It's the pnimius. And malachim is chitzenius. But when the Frierdiker Rebbe is saying that neshamas are pnimius, he's just trying to put a cap, a lid on how high levushim go. He's saying it's still part of levushim. It says tzelakus ab tzelakus shenas nivra. So umemela it's still biyah. Umemela it's still correct. It's accurate to say that in levushim in biyah it's a pella as tzelakus as it sof kom dort no. So it's a bavarinish. Then there's another line, which is like a bavarinish for the bavarinish. We know the musagim. There is a musag of neshamas lebnei nosh, of neshamas datzilis. Neshamas datzilis is lechura not biyah. So the answer for that is beseder. That's chad bedara. Those are unique people. That's not part of the conversation. So the Frierdiker Rebbe is Bapasha is just trying to bavar in these kashas. Now, why would we have these kashas? I don't know. Bapasha se felt nicht ois to bavar in these kashas. Aber lass mal sagen that we're dealing with somebody who's going to ask these kashas. So the answer is that neshamas the biyah are fort biyah, and neshama that tzilas is bichlal part of this conversation. Again. The Rebbe is mechadish in our Mamer as nishtaz. The reason we bring in the Vart of Neshamas is not a bavaranish, it's because this is the Nukuda of the Mamer. The Nukuda of the whole Hemshech Bosi Legani is to reden, wegen that a Yid macht adir betachtenim. And how do we do this as Avitz on Neshamas? So over here is where the Sif Yud Gimel starts coming back to the Nukuda of the Hemshech Bosi Legani, to the Aved of dir betachtenim. Which is, nish stam not pshat, it's like, it's nothing to do. It's just, if you know the Hemshech Bosi Legani, we're in the middle of a story. Bichlal lamata in tach has nothing to do yet with dir betachtenim. The Yitzraelim is lamala din ketz. That's going to erst happen from Siftas Vav. And the Aved of Neshamas Yisrael happens later. Yud Zayin, Yud Ches, the Nitzochen, HaMelchama, the Netzach V'Heit, Melech Zmashal Chayiv Mineged. So Rosh Hashanah. We're in the middle of a story. So clearly what the Rebbe is doing over here is we're taking Sif Yud Gimel and making it a limud b'fnei atzmei. And this is, the Rebbe is not learning now Tavshin Yud, we're learning now Tavshin Chav Gimel. It's Anaya Maimon. We're using within the framework of Tavshin Yud, but mezok the Anaya Vot, that there's Aveda Neshamas Yisrael, and their Aveda is to bring in Ein Sof Lamata Adin Tachis. And that's why we start discussing Parch Neshmas and Ben Nosh. So don't noch a shtickle. Chad bedar. Yeah, that's the next piece over here. So for pastors we said it's only a bavarinish. Sagt der Rebbe no. Nicht stam it's not a bavarinish, it's necessary to understand for the Aveda of Neshamas Yisrael. Because bichlal, in the Maimel, Kuditere, in Yenosi, over there we bring the chiluk zwischen Neshamas Atzilus and Neshamas Debiyah, without getting into all the complexities. But there's in Neshamas Atzilus different kinds. And we're talking over here about a unique kind of Neshama Atzilus, which is Meshe, und in jeder Deir is das, Pashtus der Meshe, Shape Kamer, as the Gemara says, so we call somebody Meshe, even though he was living the Deir Amiroim. Zetman says, da musik from Meshe every day, and that's the Chad Bedar. Zog the Rebbe, and even in our day, the Frierdiker Rebbe didn't say that, the Rebbe adds, Befrat b'der Yisenu Eile is doch sicher as Why Befrat is sicher? That needs clarification. And over here, Zog the Rebbe the bomb. A totally new taich in the word Chad Bedar. The Pashta taich Chad Bedar is he's one in a generation. Tahainu, he's unique. As a tzaddik, he's not a regular person. The Rebbe taich is not one in a generation, he's one of the generation. Or I don't know how to say it. It's in the generation. Tahainu is the Chad from der day. He's not separate from the day. Adarab. He's the Chad Bedar. Dahainu, as what's the union of this neshama d'atzilis, he is the life force of the day. Memela alle neshamas Yisrael sind klulim in em, and the sheish mesa frag le'am, v'yetash on his klolus Yisrael, and that's his pashtus the ratio b'chol daravada. So derweil we've seen the Rebbe set up two strong yesaids. One is Mereda Davida only Neshamas Yisrael could do this union of Mamshech Zayin Erin Sof Lamata Din Tachlis. Number two, it's necessary the union of Chad Bedara. It's not Bavaranish. This is the Nakuda. The Taj Chad Bedara is as on a Rebbe is the Raveda Nishayach. And it's negaya to understand for this union. That is the Neshama Datzilis. This is the Rebbe brings from the Mamer Yenosim. Derech Agav, Mamish, Agav. The Rebbe says that the Friedrich Rebbe brings in the Mamer Yenosim, yeah, because there's a Marmokim in Tovshin Yud. So, just we know who wrote those Marmokims, yeah. The Rebbe is not quoting the Friedrich Rebbe. He's explaining now why, basically being mefaneach the ha'ara of Tovshin Yud, so you should understand what now in Tovshin Chav Gimel the Tzelter rules what he meant over there. Yeah. The Rebbe said once, in Tovshin Yud Aleph, that the reason why was Matzu gelegt am Marmakim is as Mat gesehen, as da Indien was nicht verstandig, was felt Biur, so there's the Marmakim is over there in order to be Mashal in Biur. So this is a dogma for that, was hat sich Yam aufgetan. Good. One more nekuda is the Magid. As Shir HaShir. Und der Yid singen mit allem Malachim. Und alle Nivro. So that's there's a Shir, but through him becomes Shir in Harb. That's the word of the Magid. Because why? Because the Yid is Pnimi Yisrael. So it's introducing a new Yisrael. Not that the Yid is special, the way sometimes we describe Neshamas Yisrael. The Yid is the Pnimis of the world. And because he's the Pnimis of the world, so when he says something, the whole world comes with him. Yeah, al derech, sagt der Rebbe, machshava dibur u'maisa. So, in order to have, in the dibur, there should be chachma v'seichel, you need to have nicht stam dibur, there has to be machshava, because the machshava is the pnimis of the dibur. Now, when the Rebbe said the Mamer, the Rebbe also changed the lashon. Yeah, the Rebbe didn't say only chachma v'seichel, like the Magid says. The Rebbe added the word tainik, which is a fundamental thing. It's a shot that it's not in this hanocha, because it's not. I mean, I'm always though like takas the kichelukim. Because a yisod though, which is going to be very negaya for the hemshech and yom. As what the Rebbe is saying is, as when a yid zogt shira, so the malachim zogen nechet shira, and the world comes with. Al derech that machshava is the pnimis of dibur, because the machshava is a keli for chachma v'seichel, and the Rebbe added time. So was tut sich da? So let's come back to our nukud over here of being mamshech ein sof lamata din tachlis, and let's just summarize to make sure we're still on the same page. Mit angeheben, mamshech sein ein sof lamata din tachlis means that there's going to be an expression of bligvul of the Eibishter in every place in the world. That's the nukuda of ein sof lamata din tachlis. The Hainu, like this mashal, like your father tells his son, there's no place where you are and no inyan in you where I, the very I, is nishfar. So the Rebbe explained, there's a nish stamazeh, says, do I spashtus and stagil, and both of them are true. Both of them are naked. What's a taj gili? As this ein sof is not just going to come and penetrate the nivra, he's going to permeate the nivra. He's going to become the very metzias of the nivra. That's a taj gili. So we saw the way in Atzilus is Eini Pella, when in Biyah is a Pella. What's the dogma for it? Chais. The pastures. That's what I'm saying in Tofshin Yud. That's the Atam Chais Kulam. That's how the Hemshech Yonim goes. So, the way we finished off before is that when the Friedrich Rebbe says Vatam Chayes Kulam, if we learn that the Hispashtos Vegili is Pshat in Tavshin Yud, so the Hemshech Yonim, so the Chayes is the expression of Gili, and that generally speaking works. I mean, Biyachas to other things for sure, Chayes is more Pnimi, und so hatten sich Einien vernetzen. But clearly over here, the Rebbe is saying much more than that. And we're disregarding Chayes. Because, Kanal, we're learning Perik Yud Gimel, it's a besondere Sache. We're beferish not going to Perik Yud Dalet. Es ist da ein Inyan von Sof Lamata den Tachlis, his pastors, Vegili, and Chayes is not good enough. Why is Chayes not good enough? L'chore. Because Sof, what did we do in Chayes? We found how Mitzad Echad is the Pnimis of the Dover, Ule'idoch it's an Inyan Atzmi. But Bedakus, let's dissect. Let's take apart what's happening in Chayes. There's a part of him which is Pnimi. In other words, the hand is now alive and fresh because the Chayes hat im Ganzen durchgenommen. Could I say the hand has Bligvul? No. Atzmi is dov. The Chayes has to be dovuk. It's a tnu of Bligvul. Aber he does. There's no Bligvul right here in my hand. If not, the hand with plots. The hand is not clear for Bligvul better. How could I have as the tachten hot in sich ein sof? Yeah, in Beloshen Achsidis, when we say Einim is Aravi Moim, that's only Benegei Eir, not Benegei Chayes. We make that distinction clear. So Sof is Chayes. We don't want to be mistapik with it. I mean, if there wanted to be in anything else, I think we would have been happy with it, because it has an inyan of gil. But kilo name like this, the part of Chayes which comes pnimi, that's taki gili. But the bligvul shabay is here lamrei sadavar. The bligvul shabay is not expressed in this. Al Kaponim, clearly the Rebbe does not want to be Mekabel Chayes. Was yet, the Aveda von Shamas Yisrael. A Yid brings into the world Ein Sof. Now what we're going to have to do is understand why a Yid is Mitzad Echad, Gili, Pnimi, or Le'idach it's Ein Sof. So why is a Yid Pnimi? Pashtus. The Yid is, first of all, a part of the Bri. Chelek Alika, alles gut and fine. He is a Nivra, he's not bad. If someone would go and bow down to a Yid, it's called Avodah Zarah. He's Nivra, he's not bad. So, we have over here in this world, a piece of this world, which is a different kind of Nivra. Kommt from Machshavah, nicht from Dibur. He's a Lekus Shenasa Nivra. Aber ist geblieben Nivra. That's the Uftu of a Neshama. As the Eibush hat reingelegt a Sache in the Welt, which is a Leki, but it became the Metzias of the world. Now, it's nicht Stam it became the Metzias of the world. The Lashon over here is it became the Pnimius of the world. How did it become the Pnimius? So this is, the Rebbe doesn't say Taicho is clearly over here, but das ist, I mean, was steht überall? That the Matore is Habriya. Melachatchila is B'shel HaTeiru B'shel Yisrael. And Mamele, he is the Pnimius of the world. The Chayes of the world, and the Kavana of the world. What is the world really is the Yid. So the Taich Neshamas Yisrael is not just he also exists in the world, he is the Pnimius of the world. And therefore, when a Yid sagt Shira zu der Eibishter, singen mit allen Malachim. Everything follows that. Therefore, a Yid can mamshach sein Ein Sof in Welt. And it becomes the Metzias of the world. What's the problem? How is this Yid Ein Sof? Maybe he was Ein Sof, but he was created. Today he's not Ein Sof. He's Neshamas de Biyah. So auf dem sagt man, sie don Neshamas da Atzilus. And Neshamas da Atzilus haben wir doch auch gerät, and this is the whole Arichas, as in Atzilus is eine Pelle, Kelim da Atzilus, have Ein Sof. So if there's Neshamas da Atzilus, could carry Ein Sof. And since Neshamas da Atzilus have Ein Sof, we have over here an union of Ein Sof Mamish. Fine. I didn't answer the question. We have Neshamas de Biyah, which are Gilu, Neshamas da Atzilus, which is Ein Sof, but what's the connection? Sagt man, as the Neshama da Atzilus is the Chad Bedorah. He is the Chayis Pnimi of this Neshama. You're right. Lulei, Veloshan Atani. So the Rosh Alpha Yisrael is the Neshama ki Neshama nicht. He was a Neshama, but now he's Biyah. How does the Neshama de Biyah remain Davuk, Kamoshul, the Tziperin Sheberegel, connected with the Meir Sheberosh Ha'av, is through the Meir Shebeben. Meaning, the Neshamas da Atzilus are not just a different kind of the Neshama. They're the Neshamas of the Neshamas. So, in ein Wort, the Nekuda over here that we're saying is Azeh. Ein Sof is Meir Lamata Adin Tachlis, how? Was is da a Rebbe, who he is Ein Sof, because he's Atzilus, Neshama da Atzilus. And because there are Yidden who are connected to him, he gives them Chayis. So they bring this Ein Sof into the world. Because they are world. They're the Pnimis of world. Let's just clarify. Let's go back to the Magid. So Dom Machshav, which is the Neshama. It's Neshama de Biyah. Neshama de Biyah trokt in sich Chochme v'Seichel, which is Atzilus, which is Keiches HaNefesh. Und nicht Stam Chochme v'Seichel. That wouldn't help me. We need Ein Sof. Tainuk, which is Ein Sof. Because the Neshamas da Biyah are connected to Neshamas da Atzilus, which is Chochme v'Seichel. Da Hainu was in Zeilik Ein Sof, which is Tainuk. We see, but Alex see this as yet Atik, Inyan of Tainuk is Inyan of Blikvul. Therefore, they carry a Blikvul in the Welt. Because they're the Pnimis of Welt. Und das ist doch die Nekude von der ganzen Mamer. So, where do we see Eretz Sof is Meir Lamata Adin Tachlis? Poshet. So the Neshama da Atzilus, so the Neshama is the Biyah, and the Neshama da Atzilus is the Memutze between Ein Sof, bringing an Inyan of Ein Sof, of Blikvul, to Neshamas the Biyah, which becomes the Pnimis of Welt. It's the Gilu, it's Welt Ale. Now, once you have this Yisod, this runs through the whole mind. L'moshel, there's the whole arichis about klippe, coffee table. Yeah? So what sagt man? Klippe is coffee table. Pare Melech Mitzrayim is coffee table. Why? Because Yankiv wanted the bench. So what's the word? So first of all, we're talking about Yankiv. The Weiter. So the Rebbe, who wanted to come and bring a bracha to Pare. Is the Rebbe Meisif two Nekudas? The Mittler Rebbe is Meisif. What was Yankiv giving him? Eden Elyon, Tainuk, Ein Sof. Because that's what we have to bavar. And the Tzemach Tzedek is Meisif. How did he want to give it to him? In a Eifen that's going to be L'Tevase. That it's going to be in a Eifen as he's going to become L'Tzeves Leze. The ganze Geder from Mitzrayim geht sein to in Yonam is going to be at L'Tevase, L'Tzeves Leze, to serve Yidden. So, once I have this Yisod, we want to be Mechaber Inyan from Blikvul into the Welt. Durch der Yankiv is verstandig why it's important to bring in the little Rebbe as his Einig Elyon, Eden Elyon, and it's important to understand why it becomes the Metzias of the world. The Lashon L'Tzeves is there was the Rebbe's Yisod. In the Tzemach Tzedek. Now, it's very interesting, it's just to know how Bosi Legani's work. Bichlal Bosi Legani said doch, every year the Rebbe stellt sich on one sif. but always the first sif in the Hanachas is always a sikkum of everything that happened till now, and the last sif is like a sikkum of the rest of the Hemshech. Yeah? Now, obviously, if you're writing a sikkum, we don't have over here 12 prakim. It's taken out selected pieces. Certain pieces come into the sikkum, and every year it's different. Which nukudas of the Hemshech are going to come in? So it's clear, it's a leitzach in Pashtus, that the nukudas that the Rebbe brought out are the nukudas that are going to be neged to the vort over here for this Mamer. Now, there's one vort which the Rebbe repeats, sai in the beginning of the Mamer and sai at the end. This is like obviously very fundamental for what is this Mamer, what's Tafshach of Gimel, how we seeing the whole thing in Tafshin Yud. What's the vort? So there are Eitzara Elyon, and so there are Anshe Chai. But in order for the Eitzara Elyon to come to the Anshe Chai, you need the Pekidei HaChai. The Pekidei HaChai can't do the arbit. Kol inyonon is as the Anshe Chai understand. Le'idach, obviously the Anshe Chai, why didn't the Melech give it to the Anshe Chai? Because the Anshe Chai has to come through Pekidei HaChai. This is mamish this word. Says do ein sof, the Eitzara Elyon, which is coming through the Pekidei HaChai of the Rebbe. That's the way the Rebbe always types it, generally. Sometimes it was very rare the Rebbe said that the Melech is the Rebbe, but usually the Melech is the Eibush and the Pekidei HaChai is the Rebbe. And Anshe Chai is Chassidim. And this is the arbit of the Pekidei HaChai, the Neshamas, the Atzilis, to be Mechaber, to be the Chad Bedara, to connect the Yidden, as in Zezel Leichten Ein Sof. Till now is mamish glatt. Just lahisif one word. It's interesting. There are those which want to say now it's there is asach shraib and alle tun in them that everyone's familiar with the Baal Shem Tov, yeah? That you brought Elam's Neshamas and Elokus. In Elam's Neshamas and Elokus there were two shittas. There's the Mikdash Melech and the Ramaz. Now the Pashtus, the Hemshech and Yonim, it's a felt neshes to bring the whole pilpul of the Machlekes and what was the Inyan. We brought it for Iwe Garmei Chad, which has nothing to do with that. It's a vart which it says all over. So why did we need this whole pilpul of Elam Shashams and Elokus? So Sedo Azelch was Willem Teiner. I don't know, I just heard it from the Main Cohen in California, but I heard that others are also saying the same thing. I think Gollum also wrote it. That there's the Mikdash Melech and the Ramas. The Pashtan of Gemina will come out, what are Neshamas? Is Neshamas Bria or is Neshamas Atzilus? Yeah? Is Elam Neshamas Alakus Atzilus Bria Tzira? Is Elam Neshamas Alakus in Sof Atzilus and Biyam? Now if Gemina comes out on Neshamas Bria or Neshamas Atzilus. So in other words, learning their mind, and Bichlal learning such a mind is all a guessing game, trying to figure out how to put the pieces together. But it's very possible that what's happening over here is that the Rebbe is like setting the stage, that there are two kinds of neshamas. And they are both true, they are both valid. In Shnei and Emes. Es ist richtig zu sagen, dass was ist eine Neshama ist Bia, ist Bria. Und es ist richtig and it's important to understand that Neshama is Atzilus. And once I understand that these two things exist, then I can understand what's the plan. This is how Ein Sof comes Lamata. Okay, I can't work, I need the Anshe Chai, I need the Pekidei HaChai. I need both of them. Now, for us as Shapi, you said the word of it is obviously the Neshamas Atzilus. As the Neshamas and Atzilus to Gezach. That's we want to get to the Chad Badar. He's the one, that's where the Ein Sof is. Aber we're not being shoydel the other word. We're saying, Sedot zwei sorten Neshamas, and a Yid, through its Aveda in this world, he changes the world. Now, two monokudas. Bichlal, in the Mamer, the Rebbe doesn't tie choice how the Yid brings down Ein Sof into the world. Shir HaShirim. Zeh nicht ausgetouched. In the first Sikha of the Fabrengen, Tashach of Gimel, there's three Sikhas before the Mamer, and in many ways, we could look at that as Akadama for the Mamer. The Rebbe starts off the Fabrengen with a Yid brengt arop bligvul a inyan von Ein Sof in the Welt. That's the Aved of a Yid. He lives in Zman. which is Gvul, and he could bring, the Lashon of the Rebbe is Nitzchias. Bringen a inyan von Nitzchias into Zman. And that's what happens through Torah Mitzvahs. Pastors, everyone goes through an Avedic Sprach, every person could feel Bichlal, that the world is Arai, and it's Zmani. And when tut a mitzvah, bringt rein a inyan von Nitzchias, because now this thing that he does, this is geworden over Nitzchi. So, it's not just the way it's in the Mamer. As a Yid, by being in this world, he's connected with Ein Sof. I mean, the way we were taught it is, as a Rebbe, bringt rein Ein Sof, bringt rein Mesiras Nefesh, bringt rein Gili from Pnimis Atera, whatever it is, which is the Eitzara Elyon, which is delivering to Anshe Chai, was Tragen Ein Sof. Yeah? Nor the Yid, tut Ein Sof in Welt. This is the Taka Ein Sof Lamata Mata Adin Tachlis. We're bringing Ein Sof into the world. I don't think it's a Davar Rachik to say that Siche is mamish touching up. If this is the word of the Mamer, then it's Pashat saying it's saying that the bottom line, was will man da sagen, is mamish seine Sof in Welt. Through doing a mitzvah. Und das ist gekommen von durch Neshama Yisrael. Kanal, but the Atmachai is Kolom, alles gut und fein, it's not doing that. We don't have that the world carries Ein Sof. And then, the Rebbe continued, also before the Mamer, but Zare B'chaim. So, Hu B'chaim ve Zare B'chaim. Fragt the Rebbe, Sab Loshen Zare B'chaim, Sab Talmidov, Bonov. So Zare, the Loshen Zera is to plant a seed. How could you tell that the seed is alive? Obviously, if there's growth. And Adam Zereh Kur Echot, not just to get back a core, nor that there should be a lot of problems. So the Rebbe teaches us, a Rebbe plants Chsidim, that there should be a Tefeach HaManos LaTefeach, that there should be a Zari v'Zera Zari. And that's the Raya that Hu B'chaim. In what way is he alive? Where do you see his life? If you see as a Nemdurt, as he was Zerei Zera. Which, again, the word over here is, as Sedar Rebbe, as Zach Sidim, so Pkidei Chai, so Anshe Chai, Vu is Faran, is Faran by the Anshe Chai. Where do you see that? Ein Sof. Was Eine Pelas is Meir in Kenem Datzilis. Where do you see that he's really Ein Sof? The only way to see that he's really Ein Sof is if it comes down in the Shams Debiyah. If they're connected to him. Yamut is a lebedik. For sure, if we're talking the Sprach of Chayis, that's a touch Chayis, that is Dovuk. But even more than that, over here we're talking about coming and changing the world, that's a touch. It darf sein nicht am Zera, no, es darf sein a Zera von der Zera. And then you could see, as man gebracht Ein Sof in the Gedarim from the Welt, Lamata Aditach.